Sisters, a book club podcast about the books by Tamara Pierce. I'm Risa.
I am Ariana.
And that is our intro.
That is our intro. It's so good. No notes.
No notes.
I mean, there's some notes.
There are some notes. I did put some notes down, and there's an emoji in the notes, so you know that they're serious. So, what book are we talking about today, sister?
Today, we are starting on my favorite quartet of the Tortall series, and that is the first book of the Immortal series. God, I'm just gonna, run on sentences. They're good. Wild Magic. It's gonna be Wild Magic.
You're just keeping everyone in suspense. You're
yes.
and it's going to be...
And
Wild Magic. By Tamara Pierce.
Mine has a badger on the cover.
It does. Mine does too. But it also has a lot of other things on the cover.
Yours has a ton of
horses
shit.
And a hawk and a badger and a fox for some reason. I'm not sure why the fox is there.
A fox helps her. Never mind. We'll get to it.
I mean, it's not
the fox helps her find Numair.
Yeah, but that's not
I
the
think
most
that's literally the only
animal.
reason that's there.
There are so many other animals to put on the cover of this book.
Is there a sea otter on the cover?
There is not.
Damn it.
I wish there were.
All right.
There is an owl as well. And then there's Dane looking very much like the picture of Alana on the other cover I have, except with brown hair. Like the same fucking face. Okay, That has nothing to do with the book, though.
No. Decidedly not.
No, probably not. I am going to say that reading this just was so good.
Oh, it was such a delight.
I read it. I read half of it last night and half of it today, and it was just like, aw. You know? It's just, I was just so happy reading it. Just filled my heart with joy. Oh, sorry. That reminds me. Before I forget, someone left a review on one of our, on Apple Podcasts, and I almost forgot.
Oh my gosh.
I remembered. It was 5 stars, and it was from So Frustrated. Y'all, all my life I've been rereading these books and never had anyone to talk about them with. This podcast couldn't have come at a better time. I just reread all of Tortall during quarantine. I like that y'all are also pointing out what's problematic as well as what you love. I'm over here nodding along. One of y'all said reading the book felt like a warm blanket, and in turn, so does this podcast to me. I can't wait to listen to more of y'all's thoughts.
Aw.
Thank you.
I too am so frustrated most of the time.
But yes, the book we just read.
The book.
Wild Magic.
Yes.
Let's start the synopsis. Good news is that this book is 300 pages long, so it goes by like that.
Super quick, yeah.
Let's do it.
The other news is that it goes at a fucking breakneck pace.
Literally
every other sentence is something happening. And I gotta tell you, as the person who wrote the synopsis today and didn't finish it, but it's still 5 pages long. I gotta tell you, it's a little hard to track.
It's
a fun ride.
It's definitely fun to read, but when you look at the structure of the book, it's kind of a mess. But at the same time, that doesn't matter, because by the end of the book, it feels satisfying.
It's an enjoyable mess.
It's you get to the end, and there were 3 climaxes. And
there were. Shut up. No, we're gonna move past that.
in this book. So it's nice. Everything gets resolved. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, Dane is baby.
Yes, Dane is Davy. We begin Wild Magic with Onua Chamtang.
Oh, that's how you say it. I always said it Onwa.
Onwa? Oh. See, I figured
Onua probably makes more sense, but I'm probably just going to keep calling her Onwa. Because that's how I read it. But no, let's say Onua.
Onua. I like it. It sounds more Hawaiian now I'm saying it out loud, but I figured syllables. Anyway.
Yeah.
We begin Wild Magic with Onua Chamtong, a Khmeri woman who is acquiring and moving mounts for the Queen's Riders, a force of Queen Thayet of Tortall.
Remember how we said that we were going to see all of the people from the Song of the Lioness Quartet again? We're immediately doing that.
Immediately. She is bringing them from Gala, a country to the northeast of Tortall, and needs an assistant to help manage the 27 shaggy ponies.
There are 27 of them?
Yes, 27.
Jesus, okay. I thought it was like 15.
No, yeah. She has a shit ton of ponies.
And this
is why she needs
feisty.
One small child to go with her. Speaking of that small child, a scrawny girl named Veralidane Sarasri, Dane for short, thank God, because Sarah's a real bitch for naming her that.
I know.
Veralidane Sarasri.
That is, you cannot yell that name out.
You cannot yell that name.
And
that's why it's Dane for short. I feel like her grandfather gave her the nickname. He's like, no, fuck it, we're calling her Dane. Dane wants the job. Though she claims to be older, Onua can tell she can't be older than 13, but she can also tell that the girl has been through a lot more than your average 13-year-old. Dane comes with her own pony, Cloud, who is clearly more intelligent than your average pony, and essentially acts as Dane's nervous older sister. I couldn't think of another. I was like, no, that's what she is.
Yeah.
Onua introduces Dane to the other ponies to see how they mix, and witnesses Dane taking the dominant role over the entire herd, starting with a rowdy stallion. What strikes Onua is that Dane takes the role by blowing her scent into their nostrils, in the way another horse might. She quickly notices all animals seem to like and want to obey Dane when she introduces her guard dog, Tahoy, who immediately acts like a puppy dog.
Of course. Onua tells Dane that if she travels with her, shit might get dangerous. Reports of monsters and mythical beasts that haven't been seen in these lands in hundreds of years attacking travelers have surfaced. Onua offers Dane the job, but also a way out. Dane is so desperate to get as far as she can away from her home and the terrible events of her past, which she still cannot tell us because she has Tamara Pierce character syndrome, TPCS, if you will, and hates herself and thinks everyone else will hate her as well. Onua decides it is better to protect this baby person in the wild rather than leave her to fend for herself against a fucked up world.
Fact. They begin to travel, and Onua watches Dane be at one with the animals. That works, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. Sorry.
You wrote it!
No. This morning Ariana wrote this part. I am medicated, Ariana. Okay. They begin to travel, and Onua watches Dane be at one with the animals, and Dane finds out that Onua has the gift. Dane is very sensitive to the idea of the gift because her ma had it. We learn Dane comes from a long line of healers who have the gift, and she is the first one in the lineage to not have it. Very soon, Dane has a dream. For those of you listening to the podcast, I put air quotes around it. Well, I tried to, but my book was in my other hand. She has a dream in which a badger finds her. The badger says he is supposed to keep an eye on her for her da. I am going to put ma, da, and granda in there every time, just so we're clear.
Supposedly Dane has a country mountain accent of whatever it is they speak in Tortall, which is not Tortallan, it's like common.
Yeah.
It's not basic. Basic is Star Wars.
No, it's the common.
Is it Imperial? No.
No, isn't that the Carthaki language?
I don't remember. We'll find out. They'll
we'll get there.
If not in this series, at least we'll learn about it in the Kel series.
The badger says he's supposed to keep an eye on her for her da. Dane has never known her father, but her sleeping self doesn't think to ask any follow-up questions. In her defense, the ornery badger very soon after chews off his own claw to give it to her. The claw immediately grows back in a silvery mist. We get the feeling this isn't a normal badger. The badger tells Dane that this will allow him to keep track of her, and then tells her to go back to sleep. At this point, Dane wakes up. Sorry. Go to sleep. Wakes up. Okay. To find a silver animal claw with her in her hand, which she decides to wear like a pendant.
Because we all gotta wear pendants.
We've got to have our necklace jewelry.
Yes, exactly. Nearly immediately after entering Tortall, Dane and Anua intercede an attack of Stormwings, the fierce flying beings with metal feathers on their wings and bird legs, but not on their fleshy human torsos and heads. Stormwings, we later learn, haven't been around... Learn. I said the word, right?
Yeah.
We later learn, haven't been around for 400 years, but they used to litter battlefields to feast on the carrion of war. The Stormwing Queen, who has a name I don't know if I'm going to say anywhere near...
Janae Bitterclaws.
Janae Bitterclaws. Janae? Janae. Bitterclaws is not pleased, so she throws cliched insults we all use in this situation.
In a fantasy writing situation.
Oh, yeah. And has her
oh, you smell like this and that. Yeah. No, your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Yeah. Before we see the Stormwings, we see like a hawk dart through.
Get to the hawk.
I know, but that happened before the Stormwings.
I know, but I'm trying to tell this as succinctly as possible.
Well, not pleased. Okay, so they attack the travelers. Dane and Anua hold their own, but, sensing Dane is in trouble, they are quickly aided by nearby wildlife. Ultimately, they win the fight. Bitterclaws takes off with an arrow in her eye, and Anua and Dane are left with the carnage. Dane warns the animals who came to her aid, then passes out. Anua goes to help her and sees all of the dead animals get up, unharmed, and take off.
That's so peculiar.
I'm going to immediately not question this at all and just go on with my day.
Fuck it. We are moving forward. It's like it's some kind of reality-altering event that you're just like, no. Your brain doesn't want to accept that it's something that actually happened.
Yeah.
I get it. When Dane comes to, because she has to come to a lot.
She
Guys,
does.
I write this so much. Comes to.
She is much like Nancy Drew in the fact that she passes out a lot. At least she doesn't just get knocked up upside the head, though. So there is that. Fewer concussions from Dane.
When Dane comes to, Onua tells her she has to leave Dane with the animals to go look for the hawk the Stormwings were trying to attack. Dane, being an idiot, decides it's okay for her to, having just passed out, run into an unfamiliar bog. I typed blog, but I meant bog. in an alien country, in the dark.
I mean, basically, okay. She's like, Anua has never been in a fucking bog in her life, and I know how bogs work. I don't want that woman to die, so how about I go die?
But she's just so stupid about it.
She's a 13-year-old girl.
I had to reread that scene like 17 times because I was like, no, what? No, it's fine. I'll go do it. No, Dane, don't. No, I'm gonna go do it. No, Dane, don't. No, I'm just gonna go do it. You're silly.
I'm just gonna go do it.
And then the best Onua can do is tie Cloud to a fucking
okay, you're not going with her.
No. Dane thinks about something the badger said in a dream.
Her badger?
She had.
You can say her badger.
Her badger. Sure, why not? I was gonna be like, he's her godfather, but a badger. He's a god badger.
Badge father.
Badge father. Uh-oh. So she thinks of something the badger said and decides to listen for the hawk. She doesn't hear the hawk, but she hears animals. An animal find the hawk. That's the fox.
Yes, from the cover of the book.
The bird is dazed and seriously injured, so Dane calms him and wraps him up so she can bring him back to Onua, who is remarkably relieved to see the strange animal safe.
Dane tries to nurture the hawk back to health, to no avail. He refuses to eat, and when she finally gets him to, he promptly vomits it back up. Onua protects him fiercely and speaks to him about current events in the kingdom. Dane is distraught. She can't help the bird, and she can't understand him like she can other animals.
Crazy.
I wonder what could be weird about this hawk. Right? Dane is such a simple girl.
She's so simple.
Nothing like twigs. She is having, everyone has to tell her everything very explicitly. Yes. And you know what? Mood.
Right. Just, okay, sweetheart, it's okay.
It's like, she has so much heart. She does not have brains.
She does not. Things do not make sense to her.
Poor thing. You know what? Dumb protagonist writes. It just, let's honestly, hear it for the idiotic protagonists. I fucking love you guys.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
Fuck yeah. Finally, some of Onua's friends catch up, one of whom is the famed King's Champion, Sir Alana of Pirate Swoop and Olau. See? Familiar faces.
We cannot get rid of these people even if we wanted to. Okay.
Even Dane has heard of this famous lady knight. Alana takes to healing the hawk and realizes that since Dane found him, she might be able to use her help. There we go. She tells Dane to talk to the hawk with her mind and to refer to him as Numair Salmalin, or Aram. Despite thinking this is the dumbest thing ever, Dane does as she is commanded.
Which is what she does every time. Someone's constantly like, do this, and she's like, okay.
What could happen? The hawk suddenly transforms into a naked man, and thankfully, Dane is ushered out of the tent.
What happened to my hawk?
What happened to my hawk?
Where did this man come from? She's so distraught.
Really, she just sees that the thing she had bandaged the wing with are popped off, and she's like, well, that's not gonna fix the wing. And then she looks over, and there's a man where her hawk was supposed to be, and she's like, where's my hawk? Everybody's just like, you're a good girl. You're a good girl, Dane. Out.
She makes me think of Usagi, Sailor Moon. Just like, oh, you sweet idiot.
Yes.
That night, ? Dane notices the fear in the animals around her. She doesn't sense the storm wings, but it is clearly something bad. She constantly refers to the fact that she once saw a rabid bear.
Yeah. I didn't.
And she's like, when the rabid bear, he didn't feel like a normal animal. I could feel him because he was just wrong. And this is what it feels like. It feels like when I saw the rabid bear, but not that. And everyone's like, then why is it like it? And she's like, but it's like gold? And they're like, what? It's like animals are brown.
It's like someone with color blindness being told by somebody who can see color, just describing something, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Bears are just brown, but this bear was like red sparkly brown. Okay, she doesn't sense the storm wings, but it is clearly something bad. She alerts some sentries, one of who is Hakim of the Bloody Hawk, who is now just in the king's zone, I guess. Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Says she's going to investigate, and for some reason, a grown man let a 13-year-old girl just walk away because he's like, whatever.
I want to say, because it's a fairly immediate thing, so I want to say, like, he was about to go, but then, like, he sees the lioness in the corner of his eye, and he's like,
okay, she got it. I'll let her deal with the teenage girl.
I'll hang back. As usual, I'm going to let her deal with the teenage girls.
Exactly. Alana appears and is like, look, dummy, you can't just go off alone. And it's like, how did Dane survive this long? When Alana thinks you're being reckless, that might be...
Yeah. ... The knight and the girl go to investigate and find a bunny whose heart exploded from fear. Not super important, but like, Jesus, Tammy, what? Did Faithful give you a taste for violent animal deaths?
Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
Huge, like... we should have said this before, but there is a lot of animal death in this quartet. Like, animals are constantly dying.
I'll be real. A lot of the things that happen in this book, I thought just happened spaced out, because honestly, the Immortal series is not exactly a linear thing for me. I remember it, like, sporadically, like it's written. And yeah, I was like, no, I could have sworn that happens in, like, the last book. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
No, it just gets fucking...
It does just get worse. It gets worse from here. Things get very graphic, to be honest, in the way that animals die.
Yeah.
So warning.
They quickly find out why the bunny had the heart attack, just in case you guys didn't keep up with that thread. They quickly find out why when Spydron, large spiders with the face and neck of cat-tooth humans, descend...
No, it's just like razor, like, sharp fangs.
She says they're like they're cat-like teeth.
Okay.
I had remembered them as like metal, like how the Stormwings have metal wings.
That's what I did too.
But that's not what it says.
Interesting. Continue.
Right. Cat-toothed human. Descend upon them. They are aghast, but quickly dispatch of the monsters. Everyone is amazed by Dane's ability to sense the monsters, and also her archery skills. She really brushes those aside. She's just like, yeah, whatever, I can do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm just a fair marksman.
I'm just a fair marksman. No, honey, you're not just a fair marksman. You're hitting, like, everything you aim at.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't everyone?
It's like...
I practice.
Hawkeye, not everyone. She is basically inducted into this group of warriors because they are impressed with her fighting and her bravery, which is really just stupidity, but there isn't much of a difference. Onua confides in Dane that the hawk, Numair Salmalin, is a magician and a spy.
I always think it's Salmalin because she has an accent mark on the last I.
Honestly, like...
I know. In my copy of the book, which is the book that you originally read, there are so many typos and accent marks disappear on things, and there are just whole wrong... There is one bit where one of us literally, in ballpoint pen, fixed a word. I think it was, like, supposed to be look, but it said took. And so, like, we just straight up just took a pen to the book and just fixed it.
Oh, that sounds like us, yeah.
He's a magician and a spy.
A spy! His shapeshifting is a closely guarded secret, one with which she has now confided in Dane.
Not, like, a smart idea. Like,
no, but...
She's too stupid to tell the right people.
I feel like she's kind of like, I tell Dane something's important, and that is a secret, and her dumb brain won't let her fucking do anything about it. She's like, but it's a secret. You just told me. Why would I tell anyone?
Why would I tell anyone? It's a secret. It's like, oh, honey. The next day, Numair is still in need of healing and nursing, so Dane just wanders about the camp. She meets Darkmoon, who we learn is Alana's new horse and the grandson of her first horse, Moonlight, which is like, oh man, because it's been like 9 years since the coronation. So it's like, how long do horses live again? Because by the coronation, Moonlight was already like, what, 8?
Yeah, when did she even like...
She got her in the first book.
No, I know that. And she was like a few years old, George said.
Yeah.
And then like I never saw her have any babies.
No, I'm assuming that after the events of the Lioness Rampant, they get her into breeding, I guess. She just becomes a breeding horse. I don't know. That is beside the point. I'm getting back to the synopsis. Alana uses her horse to give her a reason to speak with the girl and thank her for everything she has done. She says that Dane
not only...
Thank you. She says that Dane not only saved her life the night before, but also the life of her best friend, which apparently Numair is her best friend.
Yeah,
We're
that's
learning
what she
this.
Says. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
I'm
Show
excited
don't tell, Tammy.
I mean, I'm excited to find out how that happens in the prequel books.
Yes. Honestly, just reading that sentence made me go, ooh, we're gonna get to see that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yes, Alana swears that she and her people of Olau and of Pirate Swoop are in debt to her and will treat her well. Dane doubts it since the nobles where she's from would never stoop to even speaking with a peasant, let alone a bastard like her who thinks she has conversations with animals.
That crazy bastard. Content with Numair's progress and the long-term healing spell she has put on him, Alana decides to take her party and go ahead to let King Jonathan know about the Spydron and Stormwings, and whatever else Numair has told her, we assume, Yeah. She thanks Dane again and promises they will meet again soon. Dane hasn't realized yet that she is now in their circle and will die in that circle.
Like, you did something nice for us, you're ours now?
Guess what? Ride or die, bitch.
You no longer have any choice in the matter. With Numair to help take care of the ponies, as if, Anua and Dane continue to move their charges to the capital. Dane observes the reserved, gentle, goofy weirdness of Numair and notices he is pretty much always tired. She is startled when Anua tells her that Numair is the most powerful sorcerer in Tortall. Numair watches Dane and keeps pointing out that she has a lot of things she just inherently does seem to, she just knows. And it's magical in nature. I butchered that sentence, and I'm going on. Past hurt of not possessing the gift and letting her family down forces Dane to react with irritation, and she dismisses the possibility. Numair continues to reach out to her anyway, not put off by her bristling. She is a 13-year-old girl, and she does act a lot like a 13-year-old girl.
She does.
I give her that. Everything is like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Or she's like, I don't know what to say, so I'm going to get angry.
She's like, oh. Yeah, no, the emotions I feel 100%. Emotionally, I was very Dane.
Yeah.
Luckily not mentally, and that's why I'm still here today. I'm going to read the next 2 paragraphs since the next one is really short. They make it to chorus, and Dane is affected by TPCS. Remember? She is affected by TPCS and thinks none of her new friends will speak with her in public since they are well-to-do, and she is a simple country girl. Her friends have other ideas.
I'm just a simple country gal.
Like, she sees Numair being escorted to his rooms, and she's, like, in tears, like, I'm never gonna see him again, as he's going to the castle. And he's like, oh, honey, you don't get it yet. You'll figure it out. I'll see you later.
You are now under my care.
Right? Onua proposes. Okay, good job.
Proposes.
Onua proposes that Dane continue to work with her as she trains the new batch of recruits for the Queen's Riders. She is immediately ingratiated to the rider training leaders, a large man named Sarge, and a familiar Khmer woman named Burry, who is the leader of the Queen's Riders, of course.
I mean, technically, Thayet's the leader of the Riders, but Burry's the real leader.
She's the commander. She's the chief commander or something like that.
Yeah.
They catch up, and Dane, feeling like an imposition, goes to see the ponies. While she's in the stables, as if summoned, a lovely, elegant woman in breeches and a riding shirt tells Dane that she reminds her of Horse Lord. Dane knows of the Horse Lords and that they're Khmeri gods, and the woman states she is half Khmeri. Dane says she works for Onua, and the woman immediately knows her name. The bell rings to go to lunch. I don't know why I got so detailed here.
You were like, I am obsessed with this scene.
This must have been the part where my ADD medicine
in?
started kicking in. The noon bell rings, and the woman decides to take Dane to get food. She asks the woman's name, and she responds, Thayet. And Dane realizes she has been speaking to the Queen of Tortall. Thayet tells her, Tortall is different, and she will do fine there.
Yeah, sure, lady. You could say that.
Right. Of course you could say that, Richie.
Best part of that scene is Dane basically being like, this is the most beautiful woman I have ever met.
Right. She's just Dane, like, oh my god.
Dane was not written as a bi mess, but she is a bi mess.
She's absolutely a bi mess.
She is absolutely, actually, yet again, everyone in this book is bi.
In fact, there's a part later where she puts a hand on Miri's shoulder and she's like, ooh, she's muscular.
I know!
I was like, oh, okay.
Everyone in this book is also bi, especially Numair. I have so much to say about Numair's sexuality in other times. We'll be talking about it. But he is, especially in the prequel books, he is very bisexual.
Yeah, for sure.
And incredibly goofy. I love him. Dane goes out to the field to help the trainees pick 2 mounts each. She asks what she should do, and Sarge gives her the best piece of advice anyone can receive. You make your own authority. And it's true. You act with authority, and people will assume you have authority. This is life.
This is life. Honestly, that is one of the best things I've ever read, because, that is the truth. That's what I've started doing with callers when they start, because people pleaser Ariana was like, oh no, I'll be sweet to them, I'll sweet talk them. No. When a caller is in that state, you take charge. You put on your mom voice and you say, we are going to do things my way. That's how you make your own authority.
Yeah, it's why people think I have more qualifications
right?
than I do at work. Love that about me.
Love it.
Okay, she tries it out by helping her friends from lunch get acquainted with the best ponies for them, then naturally realizes...
Wait, okay, I'm just now realizing, yeah, we skipped
oh my god, I skipped a lot.
In the mess hall, words are proven true.
Oh my god.
When some young writers in training, Evan and Miri, decide she is their friend. Note, I love how it's like, she's like, I don't want to sit with the teachers because this is very much Dane's first day of high school and just like coming in and like finding her people immediately, or rather they find her, which again, I feel that.
Yeah.
She is introduced to and given authority over the trainees, then ushered off to the tailor where she's fitted for her own breeches. This is her real I'm not in Kansas anymore moment, because no one where she was from would ever have approved of anything she's seeing and doing. But here, it is encouraged.
Yep. They're like, so, not to offend you, but what's with the skirts and petticoats?
Do you like them? No, I fucking hate them. Well, then let's find you something else.
Wearing them? We can do breeches. I can wear breeches?
This is men's garments.
Exactly. I'm already a bastard, because that's the first thing she goes to every time she gets self-deprecating. She's just like...
That is her version of Alana's, I'm a girl.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, but she's
and then Dane goes to the,
yeah, she goes to the field, blah, blah, blah. I already said that bit. And then, she helps her friends from lunch get acquainted with the best ponies for them naturally. For them. Then naturally, oh my, I cannot read.
Literally the one time I don't put a comma in.
How dare you not put a comma in? Naturalizes, without realizing it because she's Dane, that she bridges the gap between the ponies and the writers so that they can all be well matched and prepared.
You know, you say that dramatically. I meant it.
Okay.
That night, she engages with the trainees through dinner and into their nighttime lessons, but when it comes time for bed, she finds she can't sleep around the humans. She goes out to the stable and falls asleep with the animals. She has a dream that she and Anua and the trainees are being attacked by Stormwings and knows it's a warning. I'm going to read the next chapter as well.
She doesn't even go to the stable. She just goes out into the fucking meadow under a tree where all the ponies are.
Yeah.
She's just in the fucking meadow. Like, I'm just going to sleep out here.
I'm just going to chill here.
Because it's preferable to sleeping with humans.
Yep. I concur. Dane barely gets out a warning before the Stormwings descend, led by Janae Bitterclaws. Cloud leads the ponies from the stable, and Tahoy leads the dogs from the kennel to Dane's aid before anyone else can assemble. Dane and the animals fight back, Dane throwing rocks since she has no weapons. Soon, the Stormwings are bombarded with magical attacks, and Darkmoon, saddle empty, comes to Dane's defense. He's like, nope, fuck it, bitch. You got it covered. I'm gonna go get her. Sarge throws javelin, and Anua comes in with her arrows as Alana and Numair light them up with magical attacks. Bitterclaw sees her forces cannot withstand and leaves those who remain in retreat.
Yep. Just, she just comes and goes. She's not even, like, that much of a nuisance, to be quite honest.
She's really more of an annoyance than anything, I'd think. Like, she just shows up, she screeches things, and, like, leaves.
And she's kind of, like, portrayed as the big bad of this book, in a way.
In a way, yeah.
There is no real, like, big bad person in this book. It is just, like, forces, ideas,
big bad
countries.
In as much as, like, the Wicked Witch is the big bad, because in all honesty, the problem lies in their political structure. But, but yeah, no, she's...
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay. Dane thanks the animals, all of whom miraculously survived. A couple of them died.
No, she says
all of them survived.
She's like, okay, cool.
And is set upon by her trainee friends with questions. Anua whisks her away after breakfast and takes her to a briefing room where she is clumsily introduced to King Jonathan, who she is also in love with.
She's like, oh my god. She even thinks, this is it. I'm in love.
And later in the book, she literally at one point is like, I guess Numair's kind of okay for a guy, but he's no King Jonathan.
Yeah. She's just like, okay, so I'm comparing literally everyone to the king and queen. Okay, cool,
yes,
cool.
Pretty much. They are just like... she's probed for information about her lineage. They are very, like... I wouldn't say rude...
They're to the point about it.
Yes, blunt. They don't use very much tact.
Well, because they don't think it's such a big deal. They don't realize that, you know, these things hurt her because they are removed from, one, her society, and two, from... I don't know, just how she's had to deal with everything.
I mean, because, like, back home, just telling them her name is, her last name, Sarasri. Right? Mm-hmm. She is telling everyone she meets that she's a bastard because she took her mom's name. You would take your dad's name generally in that culture. Like Icelandic.
Yes, I was thinking about that as I was reading it this time. I was like, oh yeah, because Sarasri means daughter of Sarah.
Yeah. So it's basically she's just used to being able to say that and everyone understanding what's going on here. But she says that and they don't get it because they don't know the culture of Gala. So it's an actually very interesting, like, conversation that happens there. The exchange is very interesting, and it's
very scholarly because it's being led by, you know, Jonathan and Numair, who are like, we need to know more.
Pretty much. They are telling her that beings which were in the divine realms, like Stormwings and Spydren, are being seen in all of the neighboring kingdoms as well, notably griffins and winged horses. The conversation turns to her own magic, and Numair reveals that he believes she possesses wild magic, and has thought so for some time. He wants to teach her how to control it, and to study it so they can devise a way to warn people of the presence of these immortals.
It's the name of the series!
Title drop.
Damn. I do want to note, I kept it out of the actual thing, but, like, Dane is not pleased with him just blindsiding her with this. She's like, so wait, you fucking knew about this on the road?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, what was I gonna do, man? I'll do it when you're stunned by Jonathan. It's fine. Dane helps the trainees learn to ride and care for their mounts. When the trainees work on other subjects, she studies new magic with Numair. She learns to control her psychic reach, to sense magic, to will animals into doing as she commands. But Dane is noticeably holding back. I spelled noticeably wrong. She is afraid of some unspoken event in which she believes she was driven to madness. It's like, she doesn't tell us either. This is something she keeps from the reader as well as her friends. So we are all like, what happened? She is afraid of... Oh, right. She is terrified of losing herself.
Dane decides to test herself without anyone around so she doesn't scare them into hating her. So she risks losing herself and tries to reach out and run with a herd of horses. Sensing she is losing herself, Cloud fights to get into the stable to wake her... No, this is literally...
I didn't that keep happens, in there
that happens when she's fucking meditating. She's in the meditation, like the group meditation when that happens.
No, because she's in the stable.
Because it's definitely in the meditation because she runs in, like pushes Sarge over and stuff to get in, and she bites her on the elbow and like picks her up and everyone's looking at her. Everyone's just fucking like looking at her, and that like leads to her being more upset. Break through the call and ran to the stable where Dane's body was. Yep, you were right.
Okay. I was like, no, how? And then I couldn't find it in the book, sister. My eyes wouldn't find it.
Then why was everyone in the stable? It literally says everyone's talking around her.
Because Cloud was banging on the stable door trying to get in, and so people came running.
Gotcha. Okay.
It is strangely worded.
Sorry, continue.
Where were we? Oh yeah, Cloud finally isn't able to wake her from her disembodied state. She causes a fuss and Numair comes as well. As Dane comes to her senses, Numair ushers her out of the stable and away from onlookers. Dane insists that she was just sick and tells Numair to drop it. Later, she runs into Stefan, the chief hostler. Since Numair told Dane that Stefan has wild magic, she asks him how he keeps from losing himself and joining the herd. He simply tells her he remembers he's human. She decides this is too simple to be the case for her.
Dane, Numair, Anua, Alana, Thayet, and the Riders pack up and travel to Pirate Swoop, which is their summer camp, training camp location.
Yes.
They're not just going on summer camp.
I mean, aren't they?
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
Dane sees the ocean for the first time and is amazed. Miri, being from the coast, knows everything about the sea and is happy to teach Dane something for once. Miri and Thayet go to the beach with Dane. As soon as her feet touch the water, Dane can hear a symphony of whale songs and alien-sounding voices. She lets her magic roam, and a nearby sea lion attacks her, mistaking her presence for another male coming to steal his harem. Dane realizes the misunderstanding and calms the animal, and more so, the alarmed humans.
That night, sleeping among the harem the Bull King had been protecting, the Badger comes to Dane, and he is pissed. He demands she tell her companions about her past and about what she is afraid of. So she does. I'm just snipping it down. Long story short... Raiders came through and killed her ma and granda, as well as all of the animals on the farm. No one came to check on them, which angered Dane. She took solace in a pack of wolves and lost herself to them. Eventually, the townsfolk came to lure her out and kill her. Cloud came to save her, and when she came back to herself, when she remembered she was human. She'd been walking on two legs, so she went, "Oh yeah, I'm human." And then suddenly she was herself again. It's just like Stefan said, you bastard. Sorry.
You're like, Stefan knows everything.
Right?
He's a, fantastic character. I will protect him with my life.
I guess. She confesses to the company that she is afraid to lose herself and implies she is afraid they would turn on her just like the villagers. To the contrary, Onua is just happy her girl is talking about what happened, and Numair tells her he can easily help with that.
Also, she straight up, with that wolf pack, murdered every single bandit in the group that raided her.
I did leave that part
house.
out. Yeah.
Like, they fucking pick them off, like, one by one kind of shit.
To be fair, they had at least
like,
intended to rape her mother.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't say they didn't deserve it. I just think that this is something that people gloss over. That Dane killed an entire, bandit group. Just like, she's 13. Doesn't that make you go, oh, I see.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. How is that not something that they're concerned about?
This should alarm everyone.
Numair and Dane place a spell around her magic so she has a container to pull from instead of free-flowing magic. Dane is so pissed off that that's that easy.
Yeah.
Numair teaches Dane about sea creatures, and she gets a chance to test her abilities on an injured otter. She slowly heals the otter, and while it tires her, she doesn't have a surge of magic that knocks her out. So, being Dane, she decides to test out her reach on a pod of dolphins just off the coast and accidentally stops her heart because it is too loud for her to concentrate. While she's dead, she sees her mother with an ethereal yet earthy man-like being. As she is snapped back to her body, she sees a stormwing in the clouds who promises bitter claws coming for her. She's just like, this is too loud, I need it to stop. Right. And then she just dies. And thank fuck, Alana is a AED.
Dane returns to, this is the last that I have. Dane returns to herself and realizes that while she may have seen her mother in a dream, because she really does gloss over the fact that she comes back and, like, Numair is so upset that she was dead, and he's like, why did you do that? You were dead, Dane. He is so fucking mad she was dead. And she's like, well, if you're gonna be in this mood, I'm not gonna talk to you. It's like, me!
It's fantastic.
So Dane returns to herself and realizes that while she may have seen her mother in a dream or in death, she doesn't really think about it, she definitely encountered the Stormwing just above the clouds. She tests and realizes that she can sense them. They are hiding out like that.
Yeah.
In like a net amongst the clouds. Numair says that they have their own kind of magic, so that explains it. But, like, it would have been a really good thing to tell everyone earlier. You knew we were dealing with Stormwings. Can you just tell us that they have their own kind of magic?
Yeah.
The problem is, they aren't attacking. Yeah. They're just waiting.
They're just waiting. So they're like, I see. And then
the riders in training, they're heading to a village to camp for the night, and it is suspiciously empty.
Yeah.
Like, everybody just picked up and vanished, and they find out why. What is the reason, sister?
It is a griffin pair.
They're so good.
They are fantastic. So if you guys don't know what griffins are, it is a winged cat with the head of an eagle and, like, the feet of an eagle.
Yeah, and the front feet of an eagle, yeah.
So
it's got, like, ears and...
Yeah, they're really cute. Just, in general, griffins are some of my favorite mythical creatures.
Absolutely.
So they're so fantastic. But the griffin pair come around, and everyone's gonna fucking shoot at them. But, thankfully, Dane can feel her, rabid bear sense tingling. But she knew that this one wasn't going to be bad. So she's like, no, don't shoot. And then they have a whole conversation through images, in her mind.
But somehow even through images, they're, like, really talking down to her. They're like,
yeah, they are
fucking human.
It's so fantastic. It's just like, the griffins are throwing shade.
They are.
But basically, we learned that you can't lie around griffins. So that's the thing. And that griffins used to be hunted to be put on shields for their ability to keep people from lying in their presence. Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
Yeah. So basically they explain that they were just getting rid of the humans because...
humans' voices are loud.
Yeah,
and
first of all,
terrible.
humans' voices are loud. But then also they were worried about their own nests. They didn't want humans coming in, stomping, and just ruining their young. And so Dane, of course, makes a pact with the... with the griffins on behalf of the town.
She makes a treaty. Okay, they won't come near you guys if you guys don't go near their nest. They don't even like you. They think you're ugly and stupid, and they don't...
At one point, Alana goes, well, will you tell your friends? And they're like, hey, we are not her friends.
Don't you dare insinuate that we're her friends. But at least her voice doesn't hurt as bad. And then they fucking take off. Oh, but
and again,
is like,
nobody
Thea
talks
is
about
like,
that.
if you fucking, like, take any livestock or people, we're gonna kill you. And the griffins were like, are you serious right now?
Bitch,
we don't
please.
fucking care. But yeah. So then they show up at Pirate Swoop.
Although that does, before, isn't that where, when she was trying to stop them from killing the griffins, the mounts all turned on their riders. They just didn't want whatever whatever Dane was stopping. They were like, okay, no, fucking stop, get out. And so
they, like, grabbed people's weapon arms and stuff like that to keep them from doing things. And it's like, yeah.
And Thea kind of tells her, hey, you need to get a grip on that because that cannot happen. We cannot have our mounts turning on us in battle. And Numair's like, I mean, to a certain extent, she can't help that. She doesn't put her will on them. They just want to do what she wants them to do.
Yeah. And But yeah, then they show up to Pirate Swoop, and we get to meet all of... because Alana and George have been getting busy. They have 3 children now. The oldest one, Thom. Yes, we're going to continue calling him Thom. We don't actually learn the names of Alan and Allie. What is her... Allie-Ann or something like that? But Allie. I don't remember her full name. And then we also meet Fayette and John's kids. Rold, who is the prince. He is 10? No, or he's 9. He's going to be a page next year, he says. Which really fucks up timelines saying that. Because...
they got pregnant quick.
They did. They really fucking did. Because it has only been... But yes... Callie and Rold. And Thom is like a little copy of Alana, but with hazel eyes instead, and it's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. I love listening to him. He's fantastic.
Yes.
I love these children. I would die for them. And Callie is named after Fayette's mom.
Yeah, and Roald is obviously named after Jonathan's father.
Jonathan's dad, yeah. They're like, we're royal, we have to pass on names, that's our thing. So, and we already know that Roald is like, he was like Roald the Third, technically, his dad, and now this is Roald the Fourth. We learned this in fucking, Becca Cooper stuff.
Yeah.
They're like Roger and Roald, all those names just get reused a lot.
They do.
But we meet them because they are so excited for Dane to be there. They're like obsessed with her.
Yes.
All three of them have the gift. So they're like, because of course they do, because they're spawns of the most powerful mages in the country, you know. Yeah. It's just, but not together, thankfully. No. Can you imagine these scary powers that the child of John and Alana would have had?
Yeah, no, that would have been the Antichrist.
Like,
that would have been the harbinger of doom.
Like, yeah, okay. They're obsessed with her. They want to follow her around and help her out. And she's like, I cannot let the prince and princess help me in the stable. And then Fayette's like, okay, kids, if she says you can, but you can't quit once you get started. You know, like, I fucking love that. And it's like, if you start, don't fucking finish, bitch. Like,
you better learn to finish.
You better learn to finish
Dane is pleased to learn that this prince and princess are given chores, and they are taught to, like, actually work for something. Yeah. And it's like, all right, breaking the cycle of spoiled royalty. Yes!
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like, wow, that's nice. And so she has them helping her. They bring her that happens first. They bring her a wounded osprey.
Oh, yes.
So she mends the osprey, and it was much easier than the otter. So she does that, and the kids are all like, you know, we want to follow you around. And she's like, okay, if I ignore them, they'll go away. And then they didn't.
She's like, okay, I'm going to go in the baths. They won't follow me in there. They don't, but she comes out and they're still waiting. It's like children are like cats. When they find something that they're wanting to obsess over, they will just obsess over it.
Like my cat in the fucking closet in the bedroom right now for some goddamn reason. Got her claw stuck trying to open it. Like, girl, you are a cat. You should stop trying to open doors. This is not a cat skill. I'm sorry.
Let's see.
Basically, they then realize that all of the storm wings off the coast have disappeared. Alana's called away because there's an ogre in a nearby fief. So, fief? Fife, right? Fife, yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But she gets called away, and then all the Stormwings disappear, and then I'm skipping around a bit because there's a bunch of stuff in here we don't need to talk about. We don't need to do this.
Right, no, exactly. This is why that's where I, like, fucking lost my thread.
But she then gets greeted in the night by a bunch of bats, like a bunch of bats. Her entire stable loft is covered in bats, and they, like, come to her and everything, and they're like, hey, there are a bunch of strangers in our woods, and we don't like it, and it scares us because they have weapons. And so they get, like, she gets, like, numbers for them. She's like, this is, like, 500 people out in the forest. And so then she goes and she goes down, like, covered in bats downstairs, and Callie sees and is like, but then they, like, bring her in to talk to Jonathan and George. Jonathan and George?
And yeah.
Okay, he's still
there?
there?
Yeah, because, hey, by the way, George is there. Yeah, George is still there.
No, I meant John.
Yeah,
John is still there?
Oh, John.
No, John's not there.
No.
It's just George and Thayette, right?
It is, yes.
But she's like, hey, my bats say they see all these people. Oh, and Numaire's there, too.
Yeah, right.
My bats say they see all of these people in our area, and I don't think that's good. And they're like, it is not. And
George it is hard to take you seriously, though, with bats in your hair.
And George is like, okay, immediately goes to, can you use your friends for spies? Immediately. George is like, immediately, can you use your animal friends for reconnaissance? And she's like, yes, as long as you don't ask me to fight. And he's like, sure. So she sends out owls and is like, oh, I'm sorry, it's more like 600 dudes. And then,
to be fair, bats have a weird way of counting things, so it's hard for her to translate.
It's true. But then everyone, they, like, in the middle of the night, they all, like, go out and bring everyone from the village inside the castle walls, and all of the villagers are freaked out because the animals are just going with them. Because Dane contacts them and is like, okay, you need to go with your people so that you don't die. And they're like, oh, why had no one explained this to us before? This would have been so much easier other times. She's just like, why do people not explain things to animals? I fucking love that, because I do explain things to my cat about why we're doing things. Yeah. Like, as I'm doing things, I'm like, I'm putting you in the carrier because we need to go in the car so we can go to the vet, you know? Why am I like this? And then they realize that, you know, it's been a trap because everyone in the army's pretty far away, and they called Alana away first, and that's why the Stormwings disappeared, blah, 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 blah. By the time morning comes, and all of the fog that's off the coast dissipates, or it comes in. The fog comes in, and it's obviously filled with, like, magic dampening spells. So the, everyone in the palace with the gift can't, like, do any magic. And Numair is having to have this, like, conversation of what is more important for me to do. Do I focus all my strength on lifting the dampening spells and let everyone else gifted to do the rest of it? Or do I try to use everything I have to pierce the dampening spells and help no one else, basically? Which is a very interesting... I'm glad that she explores that choice, because that's something that all of these, like, most powerful, like, sorcerers end up, in a lot of fiction, just, like, never really considering other people. Like, I'm the best, so I'm going to do it. And it's like, but what about the other people around you that are, like, there to support you? But he thinks about that, and he does decide, once the fog dissipates, and they see that there's a bunch, like, the Carthaki navy, but no Carthaki flags are being flown, so it's not war. But he uses his powers to lift the dampening spells, and all of the barges in the cove have, like, catapults, and they all have a sorcerer, a mage at the front that are, like, from the Carthaki University, which are, like, the most powerful, like, they're akin to the masters in the City of the Gods. It's the same kind of rank system. So, and then we find out that Numair is one of only 7 black robes in the world, which is the highest mage robe level. So, he's one of 7 in the world. Good for him. We meet some of the others in the 3rd book. Love that.
Yeah.
And I love all of them. Yeah. Like, there's so much... Okay, sorry. I'm here. Basically, the Stormwings come down and they're like, okay, we'll make a truce if you just surrender Thayet and her children. And we take them and kill them. And obviously everyone's like, no, that's not... We're not doing that.
It's no big deal.
It's no... Just give us the queen and the heirs. That's all we want. You'll save everyone else. It's like, what? So they obviously say no, so the siege starts, and Dane is having to spend the whole time, like, holding back all of the animals from attacking, because she's like, I can't lose these people. This is not their problem. This is humans' problem. So my friends shouldn't be in on this. So she's spending most of her strength doing that while she's an archer up on the wall. Mm-hmm. And she's at the same time trying to, like, keep all of the animals in the surrounding area from attacking people.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that?
Anua talks to her about it, right?
Yeah, Anua's like, hey, don't,
Oh, wait, she passes out?
I think she passes out, yeah.
Oh, she got a nosebleed
Oh,
from
right, that's
holding
what it
them
was.
back. That was it, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and from talking to the dragon? The dragon happens on that day, too.
The dragon happens later.
No, the dragon happens that day, and then it's the nighttime when she goes to talk in the ocean. And then it's the third, after that. So the first day after they say no to the treaty. The treaty.
Oh, yeah, I see.
A dragon appears. And yeah, because that's what causes her to pass out. A dragon appears and is like trying to attack them, and Dane is finally able to like talk to the dragon and be like, no, because the dragon's like, you guys brought me here. I have to take, the dark-haired woman and bring her in because then they'll send me back to my home. And she's upset. And like Dane like reaches out to like touch her, and the dragon like takes in a bunch of Dane's magic to heal herself, and Dane like fucking gets a nosebleed.
Yeah.
And passes out. She then comes to, and she's like, the dragon was pregnant, and she was brought here. When she was brought here, they killed the baby, but she just, which this implies that dragons are mammals because she's pregnant with the baby.
Yeah.
And then she goes off to give live birth. So I guess dragons are mammals?
Maybe they just keep their eggs. I don't know.
I'm
not going to question it. I'm going to move forward.
And so Dane's like, I just saved her baby. And that's when Anua is like, hey, why are you so drained? And she's like, well, I've been holding all my friends back all day. And Anua's like, why? You realize that this is something they want to do. It's not something you're forcing them to do. You need to just tell them how the smartest way to do these things, because that way you'll actually like
help. You'll save them instead of
Thank you.
You'll be able to actually have them make logical decisions instead of just flying blindly at a sword.
Yeah. So she basically,
because apparently I went straight to birds. So
well, the birds were the ones that got free.
Birds are the fucking MVPs of these. Honestly, the book's going forward.
Yeah.
Birds are very like
important.
Yeah.
Then she basically reaches out to all of these different animals and being like, okay, I don't want you to fight, but if you could go and like chew all of their bowstrings, or chew through all their saddle straps, or,
yeah,
if you want to go ruin all their food, we're not going to stop you. So then she's like, maybe I can go ask the whales to help. So if I can get down into the salt water, because cold things are a boost to your
it's
magic,
it's a shock to your system. So yeah.
And salt water is also an amplifier of magic. So she
which
goes
is
down.
why when she stepped in the beginning, when she first got to the ocean, she heard the whale singing so loudly.
Yeah.
Just sorry.
Yeah, but she like goes down to the water and she finds the pod and she's like, can you help us? Like, we're, things are they're gonna just kill us and slaughter all of these people. And the whales are like, okay, and, like, we're not gonna get involved. Killing is, like, beneath us. And they are, like, steadfast pacifists. And they're like, if anyone ever accidentally kills another higher being, they starve themselves to death as a way to atone. It's like, okay. So the whales are like, peace, we're not doing it. And so she keeps trying to search outward, and then she comes to the fucking Kraken.
Yep.
And the Kraken's like, oh, who do you need me to kill?
I will kill any fleet you like, little fish.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, he's like 4 days away. It'll be fine. He won't get here in time, so it doesn't matter that I did a deal with the devil, basically. And then the next day, when she's trying to get back up from the beach where she called the Kraken, the dragon grabs her and brings her up because they start loading the cantaloupes, the catapults.
They load the catapults with cantaloupes.
Yeah, they load the catapults and everything. So the dragon comes down and like picks her up and then brings her to the to the wall and then literally sets all the barges on fire from her paws. And then they kill her by shooting her with a blast jelly, which is a jelly-like burning substance.
And I need this to be said because Dane kept trying to get her to back off. She was like, no, they're going to kill you. You got to pull back. And she was just kind of like, no, I have to do this. It was like in her dragon head speech. And
yeah. She's like, I have to,
The dragon's only reply was a vision of a cave high above the sea with light coming out of its mouth. Ugh.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm doing this for you. This needs to be done.
This is for you, Dane.
And then, they kill her, which is just like, I see. But that's okay, because Alana arrives, and also the Kraken arrives. Support from either side.
Oh, God.
But the Kraken just goes wild.
He goes Avatar state on them.
Yeah, very gleefully murdering these fleets of people. But that's okay. Because Dane passes out again. She kills Janna Bitterclaws as well. Just putting that out there. Yeah. Shoots her through the throat. Then, why did she pass out that time?
I don't think she does.
She totally does. She doesn't. Then she sleeps for like 4 days. Let's see. They should have killed you, girly. The Stormwing Druid closer. You call me a monster. What are you? My gods made me. You're just a freak. All you do is get your friends killed, like that poor dragon. They'd be better off if you just threw yourself off the cliff right now. God damn. She's rude. Yeah.
And then, she's dead. And Dane goes, did I do that? Literally. Oh, did I know you could do that? Oh, because she drew, she didn't pass out because she was about to pass out, but Cloud gave her energy, and she was like, did I know you were able to do that?
Yeah. But then she totally passes out.
Now she tells me, no. Wake me up in time for supper. Okay, she sat with Numair and curled up against him. She goes to sleep. She doesn't pass out. She just takes a little nap. That's fine. The dragon returned to Dane to the castle. Cloud dragged it over. And then we get to the epilogue.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Alana comes back, we save the day, and so on and so forth. But the epilogue is that Dane can't stop dreaming in, like, this 3-day sleep she has because she really, really overdid herself. Like, every Tamara Pierce character does. But
yes. At one point or another.
Always. But, she keeps having the vision of the cave that's glowing. And so when she wakes up, she's like, okay, I'm going. And everyone's like, what? So they go with her. They're like, okay, we will keep you from dying, child.
God damn it,
literal child here in front of us who is just going to run off immediately after waking up from, like, a 3-day sleep. Just jumps up and goes, I gotta find the cave. And they do, and they find a baby dragon there. And she nurses the baby dragon. Sky Song? Yeah, her mom passed that on to me before she died. So yeah, Sky Song. She feeds a bottle of goat's milk. And it's like, that does imply that dragons are mammals.
Yeah.
How strange.
I guess, okay, I guess the scaliness could actually be closer to, like, armadillos.
Maybe. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. So that's the book. What do we think about that book?
I mean, I absolutely love it.
Fantastic.
It's great.
It's like found family.
It's a good story for that, but it's also a good. This is Tamara Pierce being like, nope, I honed it. I know my voice now, and just like plowing into it, and it's just delightful.
Yeah. I like my note of, sometimes a family is a 13-year-old girl who talks to animals, a cranky pony, a lanky mage, a horse mistress, and a giant guard dog.
Yes.
That's pretty much how that is. It's just...
But yeah, it really is this first book is very much just acceptance like acceptance into a pack, acceptance of oneself, because she does like doubt the writers wanting to keep her around because a particularly nasty recruit who then dips out in Pirate's Landing or Pirate's Swoop. That's King's Landing and Pirate's Swoop combined. So, but she's like, "Oh, you think they're going to keep you around? What happens if their horses are too busy saving you to do them any good? They're going to ditch you." And so it's like her, like coming to realize, actually, they won't ditch me for just being myself.
Yeah.
Like they might be upset with the decisions I make, and that could be it, but they're not going to run away right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I like that.
I do like that. Dane is baby.
Yes.
I would die for Callie, Rold, and Thom.
Yes.
The entire premise of wild magic is so fascinating to me. Is it, like, just for animals? Like, does wild magic only work with animals, or are there people who are, like, plant-hearted?
Right. I feel like there definitely are people who are plant-hearted.
Like, does wild magic also includes, like, plants and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so interesting to think about, like, what does wild magic actually really relate to?
Because, we meet horse-hearted people.
Yeah.
And
in
so it's just like
later books, we meet the cat-hearted people. But yes, that's like, it's fascinating to me. Like, I just want to know the extent of wild magic and what it means.
For sure. It's... And I think
can a person have the gift and wild magic at the same time? Do we find that out ever? Because that would be super interesting.
I don't know. Because, I mean, essentially, Anua has the gift, but she
that's true. She's also
considered horse-hearted, so she's got at least a touch of wild magic.
Yeah.
So I think it's just something that you can and can't have, but, like, it doesn't preclude any gift.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It just probably means that you can... Yeah.
She's like, I don't have much of it, but if I hide something, it stays hidden. It's like, okay.
All right.
She's just very good at warding spells.
Hey, man.
But anything else you really liked about the book?
I mean, look, man, like, I see where this really, like... This inspired my immediate writing, like, upon... And I didn't even remember how much. But it's like...
Yeah.
It's that kind of good story. You get really pulled into the way that animals talk differently.
Yeah.
Like each kind of animal focuses on different things, and their awareness of things because of their different like abilities, like the bats and counting. Their counting is what it is because they're listening for how things reverberate and
yeah.
So, I love that. I do. Yeah. And yeah.
It's nice. Things
it is.
I don't like about this book, though.
Yeah.
Grown men stop flirting with a 13-year-old girl challenge.
Yeah. I feel like I also felt that I really, like, aside from the stupidity, maybe. I don't know. I guess I can't really tell. But... I feel Dane. That was she's me at 13.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, absolutely. Like,
just awful. The good news is that after some retconning in the prequels, Numair is only 12 years older than Dane, not 15.
Yay!
As the original. So,
but that doesn't matter. He's her teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in the first book, sister. Don't go spoiling shit.
I mean, I'm just talking about how he fucking flirts with her. It's weird.
Honestly, he's the only one who doesn't flirt with her.
He does a little, though.
He speaks calmly to her. That's it. Like, he does... He says at one point, because she's like, oh, why didn't you tell me about the wild magic while we were on the road, and he was like, would you go running at a deer? He's like, I don't need you to scare. I wanted to approach you in the way that you deemed okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then there's Jonathan, who's like, I am handsome and you will tell me things. And then
no, it's weird.
And then there's George, who's like, hey, how's it going? Good looking. I love me some people. Everybody fuck me. Like, that is the energy Baron George is giving off.
Yeah. I mean...
He's like, oh, hey there, Anua. Oh, you looking fine, girl. He's flirting with all these women. Then his wife is like, I see you're greeting all of my friends and leaving me to be set upon by your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just slightly uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like,
and Sarge, as good as he is, also is like, oh yeah, those city boys will try to talk a sweet thing like you. What?
Okay. Kind of fucked up that the first black person in any of her books was a former slave. That...
Are the Khmer not black? Did I, like, retcon the Khmer to be black?
Yeah, you did. They're like... The Khmer are like... they're the they really is, like, supposed... they're like the Mongolians to...
I guess, yeah.
The...
Well, I've been changing them. They're black in my head.
Well, in text. The first in-text black character is a former slave.
Yeah.
And so that's a little fucked up.
I did have a moment where if I'd had a pen in my hand, I would have underlined it 1 billion times and gone, Tammy, no! Because when she introduces him, she does say, the black.
She does.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, Tammy, no. And I was like, I'm going to power through this part every time.
Yeah, her epithets in this book specifically are not great. She calls him, like, the wood brown man one time, and it's just weird.
I feel like it was her actively wanting to make sure that she had people of color, but then also not knowing how to describe that without being
racist.
Like if nothing else, there's that old comparing people of color skin to some kind of food, and it's like, so she like very specifically goes around all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not saying she did a great job.
Yeah, she does.
It's clear an
she
effort
describes
was made.
him as, the wood brown man. Also, first off, I have always seen, like, I'm talking about this, I have always seen Numair as being not black, but very, like, he's brown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
like a nice fucking golden, beautiful.
But, yeah. That's a little fucked up.
It is.
But I think I also see Dane as not being white because, like...
Yes, because she describes her...
She describes her as, like, tan skin and everything. But... And smoky brown curls. I was obsessed with smoky brown curls. I literally dyed my blonde hair brown and put it in curlers so I could have smoky brown curls. And she had the blue-gray eyes, too, so it was like, that's me. But, it was spoiler, it was not. I was not very much like Dane. Dane, in fact, frustrated me a lot as a child, because she was so frustrating to me, because so much of what is, like, conflict for her is just not talking things through. And that is my least favorite thing. It's the same thing that happens in, like, the study series with Yelena. It's like, all of this could have been avoided if you had just talked about things. Just talked things through.
Use your words.
Like, maybe that's just because I'm a very direct person, so if I'm having a problem, I just tell someone that I'm having a problem with that. So, it's very frustrating.
Yes. No, absolutely. And, like, everybody points that out, too, to her. Like, it's like, the problem of losing herself could have been solved way back further if she had just said something, because Numera's like, oh, I have an easy solution for that. It's like, bitch, this is why you talk to people. But does she learn that?
She does not.
She does not. She doesn't learn a goddamn thing ever.
She doesn't. Brain empty.
She gets animals.
She sure does. Though even sometimes the animals are smarter than she is. And she'll be like, oh, I don't know what they're doing. Oh my goodness, I get it now. Like with a fucking badger. But yes.
I feel like her mother and grandfather must have, like, really done something to hamper her, growth as a child. Like, they did something that damaged her psyche, so she cannot get anything new.
She's learning a lot about animal anatomy, Ariana.
She is.
She knows one thing, and it is animals.
Like, she's got a giant file
it's
for
her special
animal
interest.
And then a little bitty file of, like,
common sense.
Common sense, yeah.
Other than things that are survival related, like actual like hunting and stuff like that. That is magic.
Yes.
She's got that magically. But yeah, what is your fave headcanon for this book?
Oh my goodness. I mean, because I know there were a bunch of things I was thinking about. I was like, I think this is true. I mean, aside from everyone being bi.
Everyone is bi, yeah.
Literally
that's just fact at this point.
Like, Evan in this book?
Oh, yeah.
For sure bi.
Oh, Evan Mars is 100%. I honestly, he's pan.
Oh, okay.
He's pan.
Yeah. I dig it. But, I just wonder how it is that, things became so accepting in Tortall, like, overnight. Like, I know it's been, like, a decade, basically, since we were with them last, but it's like, Jonathan changed a lot of things real quick. Because, like, it's like, oh, yeah, women get to do this, and we're, not looking at these things, and it's, I don't know. It feels weird.
A little.
Like a strange, like, video game town that's all mishmashy with its styles, and so it's like, there's no one theme. This place is just kind of everything.
Yeah. I don't know. My fave headcanon for the book is that there are no spells keeping Dane from asking questions of the badger. She just doesn't think about it. Yeah. I mean, it's like later they say that she had, like, there are spells to keep her from asking about these things, but no, I think she just doesn't remember.
I like when she beats her father. Okay, it's her father.
Everyone knows this except for Dane.
Everyone knows it except for Dane, but she's just like, Mom, who's your friend? you already made a new friend, huh?
I know, like, right? Slut-shaming your mother? I mean... We won't.
We won't. Not at all. I feel like she definitely has some inherent, like, shame about, like, sexual behavior because she because she was conceived during a fucking solstice celebration or equinox. I think it was a solstice.
It's Beltane. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah. Okay. So she just everybody's out fucking and jumping over fires to increase their fertility, and she's like, well, my mom's a slut.
I mean, and then also she talks about the dude that she was friends with for a while, who wanted to marry her, but then she wouldn't marry, so he married someone else. And that
because
was literally
the guy. Dane's father wouldn't like it.
Yeah, and that was literally the guy that tried to trick her out into the open to get her killed. Yeah. Like, it's fine, we're just gonna put you down. It's fine.
He's like, it's better this way. It's like, dude, you are fucked up.
Yeah.
Her mom, and she's just being like, my mom helped heal all these people. If something like, if there was fire, if people had seen, people would have seen it. And if Sarah had seen that, she would have immediately gone to that person's aid and healed them.
Yeah. But
and she did on occasions. And none of them
came to check.
I get it. I get becoming a wolf. I do. Genuinely.
Yeah, so, and on that bummer,
I mean, we end the book with a baby dragon, so no bummers to be had here.
Very true. But yeah, so, this is going to be the outro now, because it's too long now. Find us on all those places you're already listening to us on. As a reminder, I'm Risa.
I'm Ariana. We don't know how to keep this short, so keep on reading.